Yo, what is up? So today our video is going to be about why discipline beats motivation. Uh, Technically in fitness, because that's the title, but not really. It's about why discipline beats motivation. It applies universally, and it's very simple. Let me tell you the. I don't know whether you know the difference between discipline and motivation. Discipline is basically just doing something even when you don't feel like it, or as Hamza says, especially when you don't feel like it. And motivation is equivalent of inspiration, right? When you watching a video of like David Goggins or like uh, who Mike Thurston, and you look at them and you're like, wow, I want to be like this person. And you get the spur, the rush of like inspiration that makes you want to take action. And you take action, you start going to the gym, you start doing your cardio, you start tracking your stuff. That's motivation. And discipline is when all that runs out and you still do it anyway. And that's why discipline beats motivation. Because motivation comes in waves. It's like a rainbow. Wait, that's a hard rainbow, dude. It's like a roller coaster. It's like the waves of the ocean. It comes in waves, it crashes, and then it sinks into the ground, disappears. And then another wave comes, maybe not as big as the last one, it crashes, sinks into the sand. That's motivation. You get spurs of motivation, causes you to go to the gym, then it dies, and then you stop going to the gym for like 2 weeks or something, and then you watch some video and it reminds you who you are, and then that's motivation. And motivation's good. Don't let anyone tell you that motivation isn't good, but motivation is not reliable. That's the issue with motivation. It's not reliable. You only have it for as long as you have it, and once you don't have it, you don't have anything. Discipline discipline is the, I would say, the biggest thing that would lead you towards your goals. Once you develop discipline, it makes life so much easier. Because discipline is basically doing what you need to do to achieve your goals, regardless of how you feel about it at the time. Because remember, all goals basically spurn from motivation, right? Motivation gives you the goals, gives you the drive to start. But discipline is what keeps you going even when there's no motivation there. So in terms of like the working out, you start working out, you're excited, you're listening to all the music, you're watching all the videos. But then discipline comes when you've been working out for a few weeks, you're not really seeing that much progress because, it's not that, doesn't happen that quickly. And you're just there, you're just doing it. You go to your gym workouts, you do the gym. It's disciplines like when you're feeling hungry in the middle of the night because you're cutting. Not even middle of the day, you're feeling hungry because you're cutting, and you don't order or eat something because you know that you're dieting. Discipline is when um you don't want to like wash your face before going to sleep because you're already doom scrolling in bed, but you leave the comfort of the warmth, and put cold water on your face and wash your face with some cleanser. Discipline is when you don't feel like waking up. You're really tired to be waking up early, and you do it anyway because you know that if you wake up late, it's gonna mess up other things that you have, like because you have your timetable. Discipline is when you don't feel like reading that day, but you have the goal of like reading 2 pages every day. So it doesn't matter if you don't feel like reading, it's part of what you got to do. The discipline is like essential to achieving any real goals. Making any real, not maybe not achieving it, but like making any real progress on goals, you need discipline. Because motivation only takes you so far, and it's not very far. Motivation doesn't actually take you very far because it runs out very quickly. Because it kind of dies in the monotony of routine. Ooh, what a line. But like, yeah, motivation doesn't take you very far. Discipline takes you all the way. Like regardless, because the thing is, everything that you disciplined in is usually related towards your goal. If your goal is like getting better marks, then it'll take discipline to study even when you don't feel like studying. Go through the boring subject, study the boring subject that you don't enjoy. Stay awake during the one that you don't enjoy. If your goal is like getting more goals, then the discipline is basically, eating the healthy food so that you get leaner and your skin looks better, drinking the water instead of like the juice so that your skin looks better, dropping the all the super sugary stuff that you have on the regular, dropping that to clear up your skin. It's becoming more outgoing, talking to strangers to develop your social skills in general. It's going to the gym to be more attractive, figuring out how your hair looks, like what's a good thing for your face. Um, Talking to girls on like a non-romantic level, just to like get the practicing, then talking to girls on a romantic, like doing the everyday stuff. That's the discipline. um Discipline basically, it just takes you all the way. I don't know any other way to say it. Like motivation carries you, and but it's like a wave. It'll sink into the sand, and if you don't have, I don't know, a good equivalent for that makes sense. If you don't have the floating boat of discipline, if you don't have the floating boat of discipline, then you won't get anywhere. The wave can't carry. Ooh, yeah. If you don't have the boat of discipline, then you'll crash in the waves. You'll crash surfing in the waves of motivation. Ooh, well, what? Now we gotta take a second there to like appreciate how good of a line that was. It didn't come off the cuff. I came up with it now, so it's off the dome, but it wasn't like a easy. It wasn't a straight flow. I had to like, as you could tell, I genuinely thought about it. But yeah, bro, like discipline is perfect example of discipline in my life. That's a pretty current and relevant one, which is this YouTube channel, right? This YouTube, it's not very big. I don't have like a ton of subscribers yet. I don't get a ton of views yet, but I almost have 100 videos on this channel. And 100 videos has been my goal for quite a while. I haven't gotten there as quickly as I would have liked to, because I've had the in-betweens that have fallen off. But where it would be discipline and not just motivation is doing doing something with not a lot of like results is very hard. I don't know. You probably had this somewhere in your life where you've been like trying at something, but like you're not good enough yet, or you haven't been doing it long enough yet to really get any like visible like outside validation results, or even internally validating results, right? The discipline is to stick doing it, stay doing it. So me, I get motivation in, like the little view spikes, when I get like 40 views on a video. For me, it's cause for celebration when I get more views than the amount of people subscribed. I have like at the current moment 17 people. Whenever I get like 18 view videos, I'm happy. But there's still a lot of videos that like have zero views. And it's discipline for me to like keep on recording and keep on posting, because I know one day there's gonna be a video that just blows up and like kicks the whole channel off, and then I'll end up at like a million or something subscribers as one of the big fitness YouTubers. But like to stay doing that and not it just be a spur of like motivation is discipline. You know, working out, when you're working out, it very much takes a lot of discipline, because you're not going to see a ton of results, unless you're doing something like you already have muscle and then you're cutting, such as making what you already have bigger. In terms of like muscle growth, it's not, your results aren't going to be as like obvious for a while. You'll go like 3 months and you feel like you don't see any results, and then like after 3 months you looked and you're like, whoa, I actually have something. It takes a while. It's not like you're not gonna get abs in 10 minutes. Like that's just not how it works. So discipline takes you towards all of your goals. Every goal that you have, discipline will carry you monumentally further than motivation will. And that's why, you got to prioritize building discipline over coasting on motivation. Because motivation will not carry you far. Motivation will let you down. It's nowhere near reliable enough to make any real progress on whatever goals you have. Yep, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, I hope it was helpful. I hope it made you realize that you need to make some changes if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. Subscribe if you want to see more. Share this video with your very disciplined bird, I guess. Very disciplined bird, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.